Good evening. Welcome to the late news from Westcountry. French police officers will begin questioning the Launceston school party who were on the ill-fated trip to Brittany on Monday. So far, investigations into the Caroline Dickinson murder have drawn a blank. Here's our crime correspondent, Jackie Bird.
These attaché cases contain all the information the French police have gathered so far on the murder inquiry. Devon and Cornwall police have offered them every assistance on the investigation that they've codenamed Operation Brocade.
There's just a discussion going on between the senior detectives from my force and them. They're discussing some ways ahead and what have you. They're then taking the weekend off to just acclimatise, and we're ready to start work on Monday.
The French officers have been forbidden to speak to the media by the examining magistrate in France. But that's not stopped journalists from both here and abroad following the story.
It was a big story at the beginning, months ago, and it's again a big story because judge makes a lot of mistake at the beginning, and now 5 gendarmes from France come here, so we have to see what they could do with English police also, you know.
Today, the headmaster of Launceston College said the children on the trip to Plymouth and their families were all bearing up well under the strain.
Obviously, this is a prospect of a terrible ordeal to relive what happened on that occasion. But I think everybody is very determined. They actually want to try to do everything they can to catch this man.
The investigation will begin here in Launceston in earnest on Monday. Despite the fact that the French police are refusing to cooperate with the media, their inquiry is likely to be the focus of intense interest and speculation. Jackie Bird in Launceston for Westcountry.
Police in Plymouth are hunting a man who indecently assaulted a teenage girl in the North Hill area of the city. He's described as 25 to 30 years old with a stocky build. He has green eyes, is unshaven and has a tattoo. Seagulls in Exmouth could be culled. Their numbers are on the increase, and with it they're becoming more aggressive and moving into the town. Now the council has begun a crackdown to try and stop tourists feeding them and to encourage the birds to go home. Anna Eastment reports.
Spreading the word has become a daily occupation for pensioner Jeff Keeling. He's taken the council's campaign to heart and to the road to try and stop people feeding the birds.
It is very scary to get dive bombed with these seagulls that are coming down. You have to duck, and you've got to watch where you're going at the same time, you know. And it creates quite a hazard. It's got worse over the last few years, and I felt that I must do something about it.
There's been somewhat of a seagull baby boom on the East Devon coast. In Exmouth, the birds have begun nesting in the rooftops instead of the cliff tops, bringing with them mess, noise and some say destruction.
It's the change in their behaviour and their breeding behaviour which has been the main problem. They've certainly left their natural nesting and feeding sites, which tend to be on the cliff tops and out at sea, and are coming more and more into the town centres.
The poster campaign by the council is the first step in trying to end their feathered problem.
Dirty things, aren't they, really? I don't like it.
I just think it's a shame, you know, because it is one of the things about the seaside, the seagulls and everything, you know, for the kids.
If I had my way, I'd shoot them all.
The council says a cull has been considered in the past, but only as a last resort. Anna Eastment in Exmouth for Westcountry.
Thousands of people are rocking on Plymouth Hoe tonight as Soundwaves 96 gets underway. Final checks and preparations were made this afternoon. Music fans from across the region are expected to flock to the event. 30 bands will play over the weekend. Headliners include Scottish chart toppers Big Country and Stiff Little Fingers. It'll all finish on Sunday night. Coming up after the news from your part of the region, hold on to your hats. We make the plunge from 12,000 feet.
Good evening. 2 people have been remanded in custody after appearing before Torbay magistrates on drug and other charges. Another man has been released on bail. It comes after 8 people were arrested during a police raid on properties in the resort. Almost a kilo of cannabis was seized, 2 sports cars and counterfeit MOTs were also recovered. The man killed in a head-on car crash in Dorset has been named as 54-year-old Maurice Skinner. Mr Skinner of Flaxfield Road in Beaminster died in the accident on the A354 near Milburn St Andrew yesterday evening. 4 other people were taken to Weymouth Hospital. Exeter will be getting its second cinema after receiving funding from the National Lottery. The site in Bartholomew Street will be run by City Screen Cinema. It will seat around 350 people, creating 20 new jobs. Smaller and foreign films will be brought in, not mainstream cinema. The opening is planned for October the 11th. And a single man from Torbay got a shock when he was told over the radio he'd be celebrating his wedding anniversary in a year's time. Kay Williams proposed to Elvis fan John Bully on Gemini AM. The special request was It's Now or Never, and by this afternoon they were married. Well, that's it from the East. Here's our address.
Two young Westcountry men have been sky high over Devon today. They're with the RAF Falcons parachute display team, and they dropped in on the Paignton Regatta. Andrea Thomas reports.
Preparing for takeoff at Exeter Airport. Destination, Paignton. The Royal Air Force's C-130 Hercules is used to fly the RAF Falcon team all over the world. But today, 2 of them have ended up right near their own hometowns.
I always wanted to teach PE, and this seemed a good idea at the time, and now 11 years down the line, here I am.
Jumping out of planes?
Yeah, it's, I can think of more sensible things to do for a living, but it's very enjoyable.
This is the first time for me to jump into my local area. This is my first year on the team, and I'm really looking forward to it, really jumping into home territory.
Jez and Paul have already clocked up over 1,000 jumps between them, but they still follow instructions with, well, military precision. Going through all the safety checks is a slow and rigorous process, but once these boys jump, they'll be going fast. 0 to 120 miles an hour in just 10 seconds. The journey from Exeter to Paignton takes about half an hour, allowing time for the Hercules to climb to 12,000 feet. The weather conditions have to be just right, and the positioning absolutely accurate. To work out if it's safe to jump, the safety officer looks down to see if there's a clear view to the ground. Then it's time to go. It's a safe touchdown to rapturous applause from the crowds, and a last goodbye from the RAF Falcons as they head off to their next destination.
Cricket now, and Somerset are struggling in their latest championship match. Kent scored a massive 616 for 7 in their first innings. Somerset reached 119 for 3 at the close of play. And that's it for now. Our next news is at lunchtime tomorrow, and we'll have a full roundup of the sport as well. For me, though, have a great weekend. Good night.